It does, but I'm talking about like
Yeah,
if you
I was
glimpse
just
right before you dissimilate,
okay.
like right before. But you know,
All right. Well, what are Galaxy Racer looking for? They still need their 1 and their 5-3 flex. So I'd like to see them. What would I actually like to
position
see?
one's fine.
Yeah,
They've
and then
got the
hold the
last overall
flex.
pick.
Hey, you need a way to take
So,
objectives. At the moment,
mm,
there's a
probably
lot
not
left.
something illusion based. Just because Ember Spirit and Pango are going to do a decent job at being able to deal with it. I believe Glimpse even instantly gets rid of an illusion as well. Might be wrong.
It does. I'm pretty sure.
Something that's able to take advantage of minus armor as
Dire
well
team
would be
ban.
great. Trell, huh? I was actually kind of thinking of the troll for, the discussion that we were having for during the post game of the last series. I was
Yeah.
thinking, could they offlane troll? I feel like it's the sort of thing that maybe
10
Masteros might try
seconds
and
remaining.
make work somehow, but the mobility isn't quite there for mine. So
5
I think that's
seconds
what he really
remaining.
excels on. But in this game, it's not horrible as long as you're able to get that initial lock in onto a target.
Do you like Troll? I don't like Troll. I don't think this hero is very good.
As
I
a
don't.
hero or in this draft?
Both.
Uh, I'm just trying to think, like, what are you going to be laning up against, right? It's most likely going to be a
Venge Pango.
Radiant team ban.
Venge Pango.
Okay, well,
Paired together with a Tidehunter is not bad.
yeah.
Dire team ban.
Troll is what I
I
like
feel
at
like
the
Venge can die a lot
yes. What
in
I
this
like
lane.
at the moment is that I believe Venge can be a strong laner with a melee 4, but Troll is probably top 3 best laning carries. And if you pair that with a Tide, that's a lot of kill threat. Or
10
you
seconds
go
remaining.
for a position 5 for Polish on yet to be revealed who
5
is going to
seconds
enable kills,
remaining.
and you put Venge in the grave. Like, this is a super greedy hero that needs the Aghanims until you come online, and if she has a poor laning stage, the hero is useless for like 17 minutes. My issue is that I don't know how Troll locks onto a hero. You've got Ember with high mobility. Disruptor's going to glimpse you back. Pango is one of the better heroes. I know it's in a support role, but it used to be a hero to actually counter the Troll with Lucky Shot and Rolling Thunder. And Veg will get to the stage where you can be a nuisance to Troll and just kite him. And they don't have a lot of easy stuns to enable the Troll Warlord. So you see they're banning out the potential Mizu DK at the moment. I would argue they might have to get rid of the Magnus as well. I still think Troll needs an accelerant, and they don't have that.
Radiant team ban.
I mean, I feel like his accelerant could just be getting a ton of kills in the laning stage, though, right? Like, you might not need the Battle Fury. You might be able to go into something like the Maelstrom instead. It'll be able to give them a little bit extra to deal with the Flame Guard on the Ember Spirit, and even just like not even needing to fully lock in onto a target in that melee form. You could just use the ranged form and still get some procs off and do some decent damage if you're getting kited
10
around.
seconds remaining.
What's that assuming?
5 seconds
Morph is
remaining.
you can't. I think you need a melee here with the disruptor, so you can't morph.
Radiant team pick.
Razor.
Pretty good. Do not hate this pick at all. The question is now, I mean, I'm sure they're feeling like this might be a Tidehunter, and of course it's good later on in against the Troll Wall that I'm
10
talking about in the
seconds
laning
remaining.
stage. But do you switch up the lanes if Galaxy Racer just change tack to
5
go something a little bit
seconds
different
remaining.
here? A ranged hero that's got some way of creating space. Because if you run like a Pulse 1 Razor, for example, and it's against a Mirana plus, I don't know what plus threes are left with decent mobility, but they're just going to be able to get away from the static link, and you're going to have a hard time farming and doing much in this laning stage, even with a glimpse.
Spirit
You
breaker.
may now select your heroes.
Good mobility.
How does that lane fare though? Like, is the mobility enough to get away from the static link?
Yeah, just charge away.
Yeah, I guess charged and cancel. Okay. Can you
How do you
aggro?
feel?
Okay, well, my issue was I thought that Polaris, it didn't matter what they do, they could swap up the lane. If Tide was position 3, then Razor wins that lane. If you go for if you then put the Tide as a 5 and go for a different hero than what they have for Mizu, then Natsumi could have just played into the Troll, which is a good counter to him, and wins that lane matchup. So I think this last pick from Polaris is exceptional. He needs to itemize probably Ag's Refresher to take objectives unless they just excel in kills, but to hero that can gain vision thanks to the plasma field to enable glimpse. I always like these little synergies in that regard. I think as the game goes on, they will have trouble scaling, especially with the team fight. We're seeing Mizu scale as well in the Spirit Breaker, but I don't think he's going to get as much farm in this lane. So
no.
And I don't like Troll.
And you've also got the Venge for the vision as well, right? I'm not a fan of Troll in this draft either. I feel like they've got decent ways to counter him out. I feel like the laning stage is still probably going to go well for them if the lanes are set up as expected. But I would be really surprised if Polaris didn't try and change it up and make sure that this Razor is at least initially going to be facing up against the Troll Warlord. Force them to make the TP rotations first, and then look to respond to it if it puts you in an advantageous position.
Oh, we saw our first series was a 2-0. See if our second series is going to be the same case as well, with Polaris taking on Galaxy Racer. And thanks to our sponsor N1Bet, you can deposit with digital wallets and crypto to bet on the Pro Series 8 matches. Enter with code BTSDota on bts.gg/N1Bet and get an exclusive bonus without any wagers. Are we siding with the Troll lineup on Galaxy Racer, or do we feel like the Razor last pick from Polaris was enough to put the icing on the cake for their draft?
I really like the Razor pick. It's honestly a 50-50 if the lanes go standard, but if they somehow are able to get the Razor laning into the Troll Warlord, I'm going to go with Polaris.
So you feel like it just all comes down to the lane setup, which is kind of what it felt like in our last game. I mean, Luciano got nothing out of the Doom, and Earthshaker can do nothing in the lanes as well. So it felt like from there they just skyrocketed out of control. Could very much be the same this game as well, depending on how Polaris can have the setup. They have a lineup to just be able to run over, go kill for kill for kill. We'll see how the
we noticed that it's a Pango Pos 3 as well, by the way. Venge 4.
Okay, didn't even notice that. Oh, link out. Arrow's gonna clip onto the Pango at the moment, but Nico, with the help of the shield crash damage mitigation, it's gonna be okay, and so will everyone else. Just a lot of resources expended early. Natsumi, with how aggressive he was just positioning, we brought also incredibly low. And how are they gonna try and set up the lane? Yeah, he'll just TP up. Oh my god!
Oh! Can you imagine? That would have almost been game-winning if Joker was able to land that.
That's a rough lane, yeah, if that had to happen. Okay, so how'd the bounties look after all of that? It still was a 2 for 2. Do you feel like... Well, firstly, I'm excited that the Pango's about to be dead, in fact, is in your dream and died. It does get, I think, 2 heroes, yeah. Is it gonna matter? No, the alleviation with the shield crash is not enough here. And we are seeing, we brought up that Troll Tide is still a very strong laning sage combo together, and it's already coming to fruition.
I mean, yeah, everything just synergizes really well with each other, right? Like, you need to come forward to get any kind of last hits as this Pangolier super early on because, 1 point in the shield crash because you needed to contest that rune, but it means that you don't have any in the swashbuckle. You're not able to secure last hits in the laning stage, and all you need is 1 right click that Paulson's able to land onto you.
No, they might get a rebuttal on Paulson, but still the beefy watermelon, and now in your dreams, back up in the face. If you find a route, the chance, it's got to come through now. Yes, it will. It's got enough mana for the next round of the Whirling Axes. We'll have to rely on the right clicks. Boomy's been able to stack up a decent amount of stick charges to make it back to the safety of the tower. This is once again a lot of resources expended early for Polaris in the lane.
And no farm obtained either. A lot of that time, the creeps will push right underneath the tower. You're going to have a nice healthy lane coming towards you for Galaxy Racer, so they're totally cool with this. even getting the fresh resources delivered through for Polison. Boomy's got to be really careful about where he positions himself. And hell, even Nico now, he landed 2 people somehow with that shield crash, even though it didn't look like it connected onto Polison, but it's got such a long cooldown relative to its uptime super early on. So it's all going to be about the positioning. And, well, now it just makes it so much more difficult. Creep wave right outside the tower. How is Pango going to get out of this one without dying again?
Looks like the mid matchup at the moment, Void Spirit having a pretty good time, 16-3 compared to the 14-1.
This one was always mine.
Still very surprised at how Void Spirits have been able to play into, quote-unquote, on paper, worse matchups. It just feels like this hero all of a sudden is able to play, you know, a lot better against like the Storm and the Ember than what we've been expecting.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Its build is still kind of versatile, right? Like, if you have a horrible lane, you can just go max Dissimulate and it's totally fine. Resonant Pulse is pretty much just a catch-all thing that's always going to be effective. So, I mean, I think that's one of the big strengths of this, right? Like, there are, I'd say, at least 3 builds that you can go for with a Void Spirit, whereas the Ember Spirit, it's kind of like 2, really.
It's either the Flame Guard or kind of the slide almost. We don't really see the change as much as the priority. Take a look how top's looking at the moment. So Natsumi, 18-4. Mizu. Well, we've seen how he's been able to perform on the Spirit Breaker. We got the opportunity to watch it versus Boom yesterday. Unfortunately, that was not enough. The second game where Galaxy Racer was hoping they could get a rematch of that one. Well, Mizu at least will have the opportunity once again. He's been exceptional on the cow, and it looks like his lane is getting honestly a decent amount out of it. 18 last hits, level 4, so Natsumi hasn't been able to completely zone him out of this lane.
Yeah, what he's doing is he's not even focusing on denying that much. Like, he's got 2 denies so far, but it's more about just getting those right clicks onto the Razor, who, speaking of which, he's getting hit a little bit here. The 17%'s becoming a factor.
This is a big window for them to go on him, recognizing the static links on cooldown. So this is the window where Galaxy Racer can look to get aggressive and expend the resource and look at all the creeps they're going to deny. A double range, a lot of melees. He won't get anything out of this lane. Wow, that's a huge win for Galaxy Racer, even though they don't get the kill.
But yeah, that's just been the main MO, right? Just make sure that you're not getting the CS on Natsumi. As long as, like, you don't need to get the denies. It's good enough that you just make sure he doesn't get the CS. So, like, you know, getting these awkward timings with trying to secure the last hit just kind of throws him off his game a little bit.
We do already have the level 6s coming through from both the Spirits. Are we anticipating any early rotations or potentially supports to come to their lanes? Or we feel like it's kind of just going to be off the back and maybe runes?
I think you definitely need to try and make a rotation towards this bottom side, man. Ian Dream's got a lot of skill points that he hasn't used just yet. No, he hasn't even put them into stats. So just wanting to, you know, leave things a little ambiguous for now. Maybe once he hits level 6, he'll look to opt for something, as he's going into the Battle Fury as well. So obviously wanting to be that big farming presence. But again, I feel like you still suffer the same difficulties, right? Like, if you go Battle Fury and a Razor steals all your damage, you just do no damage. So at least with a Maelstrom, you can look to get some sort of procs off.
Yeah, we got to see a couple of trolls work out relatively well in I-League, but there were a few games where it had exceptional performances as well.
Nico's in trouble.
He's got 1 charges, should be able to make it back to the safety of the tower. Like, there were some games we saw him be able to man fight versus Monkey Kings in Wukong's at really late stages when Troll had a lot of farm, but you're against some pretty difficult matchups in this one, so we'll see how the Battle Fury can enable his farm progression.
I feel like it was also picked up at that point in a response to the Timbersaw, because late game it did take away a ton of Timber's mobility.
Yeah.
So, you know, the amount of times that we saw him just lock in onto someone, get that perma root off, and even though you've got all of that armor to contest against, it was enough to be able to take him down. I'm really surprised that Nico hasn't died more than once in this lane, by the way. Like, Boomy has spent a lot of time away from the lane, constantly making stacks around that hard camp. And, well, it's only since that fresh sentry ward's been placed down that it's not going to be a factor.
He's doing decent in net worth at the moment. He's about 200 behind Mizu's Spirit Breaker. You've also got to take a look at the net worth Natsumi's. I mean, it has to be said, he's struggling. He's about 1,200 behind the Troll Warlord. And yes, the Troll, of course, did pick up that first blood, so heavily enabling at least the disparison there.
Really holding on to some of these skill points. He's only got, what, 5 points in just yet? Not wanting to put the one into the Battle Trance just yet. And even holding off some of his gold, not wanting to commit to the Battle Fury. I wonder if he might just go the Maelstrom instead, try and change up his build a little bit here. Obviously, the S&Y is great for the Troll Warlord, just because of the lifesteal that you get through the use of the Battle Trance. Let's see what's coming out to him. Nope, he's gone the Claymore, so committed heavily towards it.
Bottom lane. First rotation here from Alacrity. Even Yokam looking to join through the river, just to block off the retreat. They'll catch Boomy. Nico, a little bit more difficult of a task. With all the heroes showing down bot, you've got to be careful of your side lane now, as Mizu is aware of this. So, is he enough? He's actually going to charge deeper in the lane. Does at least break the static link, but Natsumi successfully stolen 53 damage. They even glimpse away the extra assistance. This will not have the opportunity to drag back Mizu, which will be their demise at getting the kill.
Calculated TP by Joker, baiting out the clips there. Actually, are we a little surprised at how far ahead Mac is on levels in particular? He is level 9, and Alacrity is level 7.
Yeah, look at the last hits difference, 58 to 80. Yeah, the net worth seems pretty
close. Net worth isn't that different.
Yeah. Oh, Polo might give up the first kill for Polaris, but In Your Dream's going to swing on over. It's going to act as the bodyguard for the Watermelon. They've even got Natsumi looking to join down bot, but he'll in fact cancel the TP.
No, I think he might have got war stopped by the Centaur.
Okay. See how this is going to hinder the Razor, because honestly I feel like he would like to be pretty active to the enemy's side, safe lane, just to take that tower. Oh, In Your Dream, it's an aggressive position. Nice play from Niku. Actually bounce back off of the sidestep and does not have any opportunity to play around with the Battle Trance there, which is a big kill to find considering the Troll was top of the net worth and Nico wasn't having the greatest laning stage.
Man, that's what the courier's for, my man. You don't need to go into enemy territory, unfortunately, especially one as enclosed as that, that's going to allow a Pango to just, be as effective as possible. So Nico, he's gone ahead and, I would say, recovered his lane. He's still sitting last on the core's net worth, but...
Clipped on Mac. He's got 3 remnants to play with unless he actually wants to stand his ground. A glimpse back Mizu still at least gets the initial stun, but there's no fall for the moment. And even better illusion dodge from Alacrity, and a Max still has to be cautious. Without the Flame Guard, he's not too survivable. He's going to have to rely on his mobility. But now he has to play the outskirts of the fight now, as Polaris just don't have a way to brute force in, as, again, resources heavily expended, resulting in 0 kills.
Radiant structures are fortified.
You just see Natsumi spending a lot of time just running around the map, trying to have an impact in a lot of these engagements. But he's kind of suffering the same issue right now. He's lacking a little bit of movement speed. He's getting closer to picking up that Yasha, which of course is going to help in a big way. Even just when he gets the first point in the Storm Surge is going to be a big timing for him. But, in the meantime, In Your Dream, he's able to just avoid team fights entirely, go in onto the top tier 1 tower, and look to take it.
Are you surprised at how poorly Natsumi's lane went? Because I feel like the Razor has to play off the back of being a lane dominator, and he's only 500 gold ahead of the Spirit Breaker, and I think you had to be a lot more.
Yeah, of course, especially when you're paired together with a Disruptor, right? You've got the Glimpse that's going to heavily enable any kind of gank attempts, and that's why I was really wanting them to switch up the lanes, because it felt like, Jokam has to be a little bit careful here. I think he'll end up going down anyway. Like they would have had to respond to it, right? It would have just given you so much more advantageous lanes. And, we've seen in the mid lane that Mac already did such a great job against Alacrity, but the side lanes probably didn't go anywhere near as well as it should.
We see the issues that Polaris have as well with taking objectives. It's not someone like a Troll with the further stacks. They're going to have to really rely on the catapult timings, and when the next one's going to be the next 3 minutes. So these towers are not going to go down at a rapid succession. We'll see maybe that late game threat come through if Razor has to go into the Aghanims and refresh it potentially. But at the moment, they're going to be really behind in regards to real estate, which can make it a little bit more difficult with how aggressive I feel like they need to play.
They're looking at making a bit of a smoke move here with Paulson freshly picked up Ravage, maybe trying to bait someone out around the bottom tower. Jokem, of course, he's got a couple of those leap charges available, almost hitting up onto his level 6 as well. Would love to pick that one up before this engagement. But
Nico, who needs some assistance. Paulson's even just going to tumble a toy forward for the Ravage, but the swap back to safety. Nico still is in trouble as he will be brought down. The static, it's not going to control anyone at the moment. A 1-for-1, but even in your dream, looking to get involved. The glimpse back instantly was sending packing. As now Polaris with the numbers advantage, they can use this to their beneficial. As they'll chase through Alacrity under the tower, he'll just have to rely on the Euro Scepter to make as much space as possible. Astral steps up in a couple seconds. If he can get enough time through to simulate, maybe he's out to safety with the assistance of Jokem as well, but that's not the case as Mac continued to hunt on forward. Next is going to be Jokem. A leap is available, but the damage is plentiful with Natsumi and Mac hand in hand to get the kill.
I mean, that game is entirely on the that team fight. Sorry, is entirely on the supports of Polaris. Like Mac, of course, doing a fantastic job to be able to constantly go that one more, but if they don't get that swap off, then, you know, the Pangolier has completely no impact in that team fight. It caused them to commit heavier, forced them into the area for the Static Storm, and then, of course, the glimpse away onto In Your Dream meant that he was a complete non-factor at that team fight.
Yeah, 1000%. The support play from Polaris, but you're In Your Dream still... Maybe there was more time for him to farm. Who knows what could have happened, but at least what he's been able to get afterwards is now Battle Fury completed at a incredible timing, pre-14 minutes, and he's already got a stack to fall back on, but gotta keep in mind that my guy Mac is top of the net worth, 4-0-1 on the Ember. He's already got the Maelstrom and looking to build into the BKB, and it doesn't seem like they have the greatest answer for the Ember at the moment. They're gonna have to rely on probably the Yours into the Remnant to follow up with the Arrow, I think, for the chain lockdown.
I would almost call him the best Ember Spirit in C, like, and that's including TI teams. He's that good.
He's crazy. Yeah.
So this kind of gameplay isn't
smoke maneuver just to get rid of the Spirit Breaker. Seeing how difficult Mizu can be, and you do have to keep tabs on this man, because if you do allow him to get a lot of farm, he's going to be a big issue as the game goes on.
Thought maybe they might have attempted to go for that that kill onto In Your Dream. At least he was able to take up the stack, but no, he's just going to continue farming away. I mean, yes, Mizu is very difficult to play against, but do you feel maybe they've gone a little bit too heavy on Polaris's draft towards trying to deal with that? You know, like, you've got the glimpse, you've got the swap, you've got multiple ways to be able to deal with him, trying to be as evasive as possible, but, you know, it's going to become a little bit harder to do so very soon, considering he's only 350 gold away from finishing that Shadow Blade. So you're going to consistently need to be buying detection to make sure that he's not able to just slide on away. I
do think the Spirit Breaker will create a lot of chaos in fights. I mean, it's just been chaos talk throughout the past couple of days, but with the heroes that Dire have, I feel like it's really important to bring up. Disruptor and Venge, they want to use their abilities perfectly in, you know, conjunction, and, you know, the Spirit Breaker charging one of them and maybe forcing them to use a preemptive swap to save someone, or like a Static Storm just to get some value out of it before it dies is going to be a big factor here of how Mizu can play.
They go for a little bit of a backstab there on Polaris underneath the smoke, but not catching anyone for now. They were at least able to plant up a nice deep Observer Ward as the charge going in onto Mac, but he's at least been able to bottle up the haste and get away.
See, still, nonetheless, though, Radiant, they are farming very well. In Your Dream, of course, Yashina completed, and he's 1-1, and they have really done nothing to try and posture aggressively and bring him down. Slowly poking, prodding at the T1 tower mid. I think once they get this tower, then it might be a little bit easier to maybe look to find Troll next.
Sure, but how do you take the tower? You know, your position 3, the Pangolier is not a tower taker, and he hasn't even gone for something like, you know, the Orb of Corrosion that might help slightly. The Yule Scepter being used, you don't really want the Ember Spirit standing on the front lines, and even Natsumi's popped the Eye of the Storm just to assist with his farming into that first BKB. So I feel like that's the next timing that Polaris are going to be playing around in about 50 seconds time, when he'll hopefully have that BKB completed and able to use the Eye of the Storm for the next time. Although I was about to say they're looking at maybe closing in, but it's just Mizu in the area, so probably not going to happen.
I mean, feels like though. What do you believe Polaris are waiting for? Because the farm game is going to favor
BKB.
Galaxy Racer.
It's just BKB on Natsumi, and that's it. Because yeah, I agree entirely. You know, if you're going up against this Battle Fury, you got to punish it, because they've essentially sacrificed a big part of their early game to secure their late game. And if you just allow him to, you know, play this greedier style, well, Natsumi is going to need to get out of there really quickly.
They're coming through. They might beta them in a position. Natsumi doesn't really have the mana for the fight, so they're going to disperse away from the area. Mizu off to the right side, the rest of the team off to the western side. And there's the BKBs, like you were saying. Mac is a bit far away from his. Actually going to look to jump the Ember. Got the sentries in these choke points. That makes it very difficult for Mizu to play active here. And now with the river, Nico's going to look to charge up. A beautiful chains locking on 2 with the 4 stuff. Still pushes in the back, but it's not going to matter. The perfect use of the chain control is enough to find 2 kills. And then looking to transition this into more as well, as Polaris hunting further and further behind the tier 1 tower as Max secures the triple.
Yeah, great team fight there. Mac, again, just carrying his team through this stage. I was a little worried there for Natsumi. He finally got a little bit of bottle charges fed through to him after the fight. But when he took it, he only had about 200 mana. So you wouldn't have had enough to get the Plasma Field and the Static Link and the Eye of the Storm off. So he only ended up using the Plasma in that team fight. Still, though, they were able to take it. They were able to get the tower. And that's all on the back of Mac's Ember Spirit.
You brought up earlier as well that the Spirit Breaker Shadow Blade might be a bit of a nuisance with how you have the detection, the sentries all the way across the map, but we've seen so far Polaris, at least how they're warding and centering around mid. It's a lot of emphasis to...
Going for a kill on Boomy.
This is nice to find, considering is slowly starting to close into the Agnums, an item that the Vengeful Spirit very desperately needs. But yeah, I was saying that I just like how Polaris are warding around the mid area, because this is kind of the crossroads Spirit Breaker if he wants to charge top, charge bot. He's got to go through mid more than likely, and having sentries and observe wards controlled around the area really mitigates that factor.
Yeah, for sure. Haven't really felt quite as much of Jokam's effect this game. Of course, he doesn't have the easy setup into the arrow with the likes of, you know, a Mars or a Sand King or anything like that, but it still feels like he's playing a little bit more of this lane shoving style of game. His net worth is pretty good.
He's in trouble here. So he's got the Eulers available with the Static Storm. It's hard him in a long enough position. Even In Your Dream's going to look to get involved as well with the help of the Ravage, but Nico's preemptively charged up the Rolling Thunder, so they get nothing out of the Tide Ultimate. They're going to face the Troll head on. He can't even get any opportunity for the Ultimate out. It's Polaris, another 3 for 0. And that's even finally into the Troll Warlord.
Yep, nicely done. He doesn't have his BKB finished yet, still about 1100 gold away. Didn't have Jokam there at that fight. Spirit Breaker as well wasn't a factor. I liked the fact that he saved the Yule Scepter for towards the end of the Static Storm, because obviously the damage does ramp up for the Disruptor Ultimate. But it did mean that Natsumi was able to close in time and get the Static Link onto him before he was put up inside the Tornado. So, you know, you got a lot of stolen damage through from the Static Link. And again, Mac just pops off in that team fight again. He easily has the most damage done this game. 7, 0, and 4.
Yeah.
He's just everywhere on the map right now.
Even with the
levels ahead. 3 levels ahead of the Void Spirit.
This is I mean, we've been seeing the praises for Alacrity through pretty much all the games we've seen from Galaxy Racer so far, but this one's not the case. You know, like you were saying, three levels behind, 3-3 KDA, and it's it's all the Max show right now. Do you feel like that's going to get any different? Like, will the answers eventually come through from Galaxy Racer?
I mean, he's just got a BKB freshly as well, right? Though, so it's going to be so hard to chain lock him down. You know, it was a decent Ravage use that time, but Natsumi was able to use that 9-second BKB to dodge out the vast majority of it. So, Jokam, he's in trouble as well.
Drag back. Try and play around with the leaps, but of course there's no escape. We'll delay for as long as possible. So, Mac, one step closer to the godlike streak that he'll soon to have, and for Polaris, don't think they can get Mizu here. What's he opting for? Going to be a BKB. Okay.
I appreciate it. You know, you're constantly going to be the target for the Rolling Thunder, for the Glimpse in a lot of these team fights. It essentially forces them to have to use the swap onto you, and I feel like still for Boomy, the swap needs to be used as a defensive tool.
Not gonna let go of the pressure.
Damage, though. Like, Mizu is a big part of their team fight in terms of damage, and it just doesn't feel like he's been enabled to have that effect at all.
Smoke, don't run into Polison. Mac dodges the arrow, so Razor has to eat it point blank. Polison still looking for the kill on the back line. Meanwhile, Nico is able to follow up here with the Rolling Thunder. Beautiful use of the chain lockdown is not enough as Alacrity gets 1 second out to safety. So window was enough. They still do kill off the Mirana, but they're not leading this into any objectives on Polaris. Maybe they can swing to top where they've got the lane shoved out. Right, Troll?
First, In Your Dream's actually going to come up here and has to be a little bit careful.
Just
they don't have
buying
vision.
BKB. They can attempt to dive him under the tower. They'll just choke away all his damage, so he has nothing he can do. An early use of the ultimate, but In Your Dream, that's a questionable TP to say the least.
Yeah. Whenever no one's showing on the map, you always have to be a little bit careful about where you're looking to commit that TP. So, big loss for them. Also takes away some of that extra Roche potential that, you know, you still do have. You know, the Tide Hunter, he's got the 4 points in the gush.
And Mizu's caught mid. That's another pick-off. They're crumbling right now. They're looking to try and connect down bottom. They've got to be perfect. Natsumi's pretty tanky. BKB, Sanjin, Yasha. He's pretty close to the tower, so instant rotations are flying, but they had the opportunity. The status resistance caught them off guard. Polison will make it away. Mirana will join him as well. The question is, can Alacrity? All the ultimate charges on cooldown, and Mac will block off the escape avenue. There is no retreat whatsoever. They're even going to give Nico the tip as well for the Pango. What a performance they're having from Polaris throughout the mid game.
Yeah, I still feel like Nico got way too much out of that lane. A big part of why Mac is having such a good game, while he was 2 levels ahead in the laning stage against the Void Spirit, level 9 versus level 7, is that Boomy just straight up left the lane. I think they kind of sacrificed it and said, you know what, this lane's probably not going to go as well as we were hoping for. We gave up that first blood to In Your Dream. So, you know, let's just go back. Let's look to make up some stacks at both the Ancient Camp and the Hard Camp. But instead, he still only died the 1 time in the laning stage. So I feel like it was a big opportunity missed there by Galaxy Racer, because they certainly didn't get any weaker with this Tide Troll Warlord combination.
I wonder if they could Roche with the DD. It looks like Max just going to claim this one. So they're maybe looking to fight off the back of it. And, yeah, smoke up on 3. Polison, he does have the blink reveal, but with Ravage on cooldown, that's not really the reveal you're looking for. Get him out to safety at least with the quick fingers, but maybe if CML can cut him off here, recognizing that it has to just run as far away to the western side, but still this long range catch in the glimpse, 1800 range is too much for him to bear.
Push a little bit as well, and why not? You know, you've got the Eye of the Storm that's zapping in onto Roche, you've got the Disarm from the Pangolier, and even the Vengeful Spirit's going to enable you to take it pretty effectively alongside the Orb of Corrosion. So even just sidestepping, allowing Jokam to hit Roche just for that little bit of extra stun. Thank you very much.
Roshan has fallen to the tower.
How close are they? Alright, Alacrity's now just going Ags. Feels like he needed more survivability with a Kyre and Sunj. But is there an item?
Right next to Mac as well.
Yeah. Is there an item timing that you feel is going to be the importance here for In Your Dream? Like, what are we looking for on the troll to really give him a time to team fight?
Honestly, like, a Blink Dagger is what I want to see from him. Just to be able to finally get it onto these backlines, pop his BKB, take out the supports, and then hopefully the rest of the team are able to follow you into the team fight, notably Paulson with a Blink Ravage. He's going into the Basher first. I definitely want to see a Blink Dagger after that, though.
We're just getting multiple kills across the map. Mac even catching out the Mirana up top, so just freebies left, right, and center. So you feel like it's the Void Spirit and the Spirit Breaker, they don't have the tools to deal with the supports? Because I felt like that would have been their role to do that job. Mizu's actually charging in to make the attempt to find a kill. It's taken them a while throughout this game. Nico still with the chain control. Once again, man, this Painkly, we haven't seen in a position 3 for quite some time, but see what he can do with some of the farm priority. And now in the dream.
Yes, again, like, kind of, oh no, not again.
Okay, he's
kind of similarly to what we saw in the previous game between Motivate, Trust, and Execration. The Doom was a good pick. The Grimstroke was a good pick, but not against that lineup, and not with how the game had gone. Because again, the bottom lane probably should have gone a little bit better. Mid lane was impacted heavily because they didn't punish that bottom lane, and now you've got Mac, who's what, 5 levels ahead still of Alacrity.
You also got Mizu, who's gonna end up falling once again, unless he can survive until charges up. And that's not gonna be the case. I mean, the Spirit Breaker, 4 deaths, it's
I mean, despite this feels like much more than a 3k net worth lead. Like, Jocam's getting a lot out of the map. Let's say that at least. And even though he's died a few times, Mizu has caused a lot of attention to be paid over to him. Jocam, though, not doing his cause any good by dying for the 7th time, only involved in 2 kills up to this point. I mean, the Bash has been picked up now by In Your Dream. I still really want to see a Blink Dagger. It feels like you need to take out the supports, the supporting cast. Oh, is Nico going to be able to find him in time? I don't think so. Your Scepter is just a couple of seconds off cooldown there.
I think the Abyssal Blade is what they're looking for on Troll. I mean, In Your Dream has been getting a lot of farm.
How do you get in?
Yeah. And it's gonna be off of the back of the team to provide that capability. Swap the safety on Natsumi. The Ravage gonna fly, clipping onto 4. Maybe this is the fight they can look for off the back of a huge Ravage. Into Dream. He's locked onto Natsumi, but it's not gonna matter. The static link constrained all his damage. They've only dealt with the first life, and that's all they'll get. As Troll's down, Mizu will join him in the afterlife as well. Alacrity's gonna attempt the TP. But the cancel is there thanks to the yours. A triple for Mac, continuing his dominant performance in this game 1, and he'll look to make it an ultra kill as well.
18, 0, and 6 on this Ember Spirit at the 28.5-minute mark of the game. He's had what? Oh god, quick maths. But like over an 80%, like 85% kill involvement this game for Polaris. He is going bonkers, and you couldn't really ask for too much of a better engagement there if you're a Galaxy Racer. But again, it was into the Aegis. Maybe the team fight goes a little bit better if Boom, is he gonna die here? Nope, just able to dodge it out. If Razor doesn't have the Aegis, you know, and you're able to actually fight with a one-man advantage. But just with the 2 lives, it was way too much for them to deal with.
I don't think that would have netted them anything. That was kind of cute. The charge bash back into the arrow, but nonetheless, will be a full set of barracks claim mid. You see, like, Polaris have 2 decent anti-carries. Definitely the Razor against the Troll, but Nico as well is having quite the performance. I mean, he is 2-2 and 13. Don't think Mac's in trouble. Nico's actually going to look to jump in. It's... Like, Troll, that was the best opportunity we're going to see for him in quite some time. And honestly, this game for 30 minutes where he'd have some impact off the back of a Ravage like that. But if you static link him, his fight is completely done. Done and dusted. He's got no impact afterwards. So, I mean, Natsumi's the target.
I was one of the Maelstrom, you know, right? Like, at least you can do something in these team fights. Mizu gets caught again, arrow in onto the Razor, but you can't feel confident to take a team fight when you don't have this Ravage available. I feel like they're just going to continue to perhaps push in onto the high ground. You have to be a little bit careful here In Your Dream. Swaps available
they're trying
as
to force the BKB. At the glimpse, trying to find the vision. They might get it now with the Wave of Terror. Still Lotus Orb protecting him for quite some time. doing their best to force it, but he hasn't popped it just yet. Ravage is now at the ready as well, but I feel like they need every single hero if they're going to take a successful team fight. With Mizu down, I'll just look to reset.
He's saving up his gold still on the Troll Warlord. Oh, will he go Sanjin Yasha? I mean, it's not horrible. It gives you a little bit of extra movement speed, gives you that status resist that you're going to need to be able to, you know, withstand some of the searing chains and the the stuns coming out from the Pangolier, but I'm still on the board of needing a Blink Dagger here for Troll. Either that, or just do what Execration attempted in that first series against Motivate Trust. You have to try and wrap around and catch the backline somehow. I feel like just walking up into this Ember Spirit and Razor is suicide. And, well, to their credit, Polaris have never allowed them to. You know, they're never just obviously revealing on the map.
Oh, poor Mizu. It's been a tough life for the Spirit Breaker. Nice swap back, early use of the BKB. Might net him at least an opportunity to get back to safety. Another solid Ravage, but where's the Troll? A glimpse inside the base in your dream. He didn't want to use an early BKB, and it completely forces a wasteful Ravage there. He's at least been able to lock onto one, but the bashes are lacking. The damage is almost lacking to kill off the Disruptor, but now in they go. Mac using the advantage he's got with the 19-0 performance. They're going to have to hope and pray for an incredible defense here to bring them back in this game one, but it seems like it's all Polaris at the moment. Maybe Alacrity with the Aghanim's reveal.
Oh, the arrow.
It's a lot of damage. They've been able to kill off 2 arrow or to connect if they can get the chain lockdown, which they will be able to. Mac has fallen. Now they've also found the Venge afterwards. So Galaxy Racer. Okay, finding 4. A nice fight for them. And Avenue's back in.
It's the one mistake that Max basically made the entire game, and it's a big one. You know, daytime, he had ages to see that arrow was coming, but instead wasn't able to sidestep it. You got the good follow-up with Alacrity there. And was he the one? No, it was actually In Your Dream that got the 10 times kill streak there. So 850 gold being pumped into the Troll Warlord gives him a small opportunity now. He's holding on to 3,000 gold as well. What's he going to go for? I don't think you can expect an arrow like that to happen again.
No. That's a big swing, though. About 3k experience is about 9k. So maybe getting some heroes to the level 20, which the Void Spirits are at the moment. Extra bursts. Mizu as well, just hitting the Charge of Darkness movement speed. So we'll see what they can do. On Troll?
Yeah.
Huh.
It's okay against the Razor. Like, maybe he could put some faith in the rest of his team to try and take him down, but you're still going to need to wait for the BKB to be used, and Natsumi is tanky as hell. He's got a Satanic and an AC.
You feel like they need damage on Radiant? Like, that's like damage and control, and I thought the Abyss would give him that. If he didn't go that, then a damage route. So, seems like he wants the more oh no.
He's doing 25 as well.
And just misses the reset. Alacrity. Oh, he's out to safety. Polisson won't have the same fate. They're actually still looking to stick around. He'll get the Ravage In Your Dream. Trying to take the man fight, but they're going to be cautious because Natsumi's still soaking the Troll while it dry. He's been able to lock onto his opponent, but a force up back to safety. So they've broken the link. In Your Dream, he still wants to try and take the man fight, but a nice defensive swap means he's locked on towards the Pangolier. But the Troll is just tickling the Razor at the moment. Is it going to be enough? However, now once the BKB expires, they'll bring the Troll down. Next on the chopping block is Mizu. I've got the vision. There's no escape at the moment for the Spirit Breaker unless he can rely on the charge. Nico?
Just watching Mac fly around these team fights is nuts. You know, he's level 25 now, so he's got the minus remnant charge restore time, and he even has the refresher orb as well. So just able to instantly get back to those 5 fire remnants once he's used them all, and he was able to just dive across the entire map through the use of that Aghanim Scepter. Yeah, it was a decent battle trance, but it was after he'd already had 124 damage taken away from him, I believe. So it wasn't as impactful as I'm sure he would have liked.
I mean, we've said it through the entirety of the game, but Troll's not going to have a team fight if he's been static linked. So I don't know what you do against that. How many forces you got? You got one on the Mirana. Polison's going to 1 as well. You have to play off the back of disjointing Static Link and then fighting after that. If you're gonna drop Ravage and then go into the fight and try and kill off the Razor, I mean, he now has second life, which is, it doesn't matter. But regardless, he's got 3,100 health. I
think there's so many conditions that need to be met for Galaxy Race to win a team fight, and it's so rare that it's going to happen. Like, you need to not get static linked for more than like 2 seconds. You also need to make sure that you can pop the BKB on the Razor, and Max somehow needs to be locked in place somehow when he's effectively got 10 remnants that are also going to be refreshed for every single kill that he's got.
Swap back. Instant stun lock. They're going to have to hope and pray that he can get anything off, but they won't be able to. He's going to buyback available for In Your Dream, but now with the backline, we see what Mac can do on the Ember. So only got 2 remnants available, so Lacker's going to look to jump, but instant use of the BKB. He's got Boomy on the outskirts as well to be able to protect him, and Nico's going to fly on forward as well, relying on the U-turn. Not fast enough to control Alacrity, but they have at least dangled their lives to force the buyback on In Your Dream. Nico's still in trouble. He's going to look for the roll into the TP out. He will be successful, along with the rest of the reset from Polaris.
Radiant's top barracks are under attack.
Really solid performance coming out for Polaris right now. 20k net worth lead, able to bait out abilities very nicely, save their teammates without committing too far with their own lives as well. So, just every little thing's going right for them. That wasn't a Ravage used, but it was the buyback on the Troll Warlord. So you lose one more team fight on Galaxy Racer, and your hope is gone.
I mean, this is desperate.
They're going for the all-out play. They have to.
Radiant
Max the one. If you can catch him out, he's still got 20 seconds left on that BKB. He's under the cover of haste, though. Your chain lockdown needs to be perfect, and he's going to be on the high ground. Oh my god. How lucky can you be?
You might actually just have to play around the triangle now with your ward. It's either the triangle or bot by the outpost. You have to live and die by your ward and hope that they walk up mindlessly into this area. But In Your Dream showing, and they still have the tier 1 bot if they want to set up.
Ballsy move. Arcane Root on the top side as well. Who's going to take it? Nico, hello? I mean, give it to Mac, right? Ugh. Disgusting. He's going into the Gleipnir as well.
Has he got
He didn't have control before.
Still, they've re-smoked. Oh, the illusion bait. Okay, they've caught up Boomy. They'll try and deal with the illusion early. Now with the backline as well, Troll. He's getting kited at the moment, Nico. Prioritizing dealing with In Your Dream. Refresher pop Mac. Trying to create as much chaos as he can, but they're just split away from Galaxy Race so they can get rid of Polison. No Ravage opportunity. An early use of the BKB, but they'll be swapping back to safety. Max still in trouble. Great use of the Remnant. They just have no catch at the moment. They've locked into the Troll, and that's all she wrote. It's Polaris. A masterclass performance in this game 1, taking it 39 minutes in.
Very nicely done. And, I mean, they almost did it perfectly there. Another great swap, though, coming out from Boomy. I thought his game was underrated as well. Of course, Mac was the one with all the flashy plays, but just to be able to save his teammates twice, first one around that key team fight at the bot tier 1 tower, this time around able to swap In Your Dream to make sure that Mac wasn't continuously focused in on. So, nicely done there. Very convincing victory in the end, and a little unexpected. You know, I was saying 50-50 coming out of the draft. The lanes probably didn't get set up as I would have been hoping for Polaris, but yeah, definitely not punishing that solo Pangolier from what felt like beyond the 3-minute mark. You know, only able to get 1 kill on him in the laning stage, and Mac just went crazy.
Mac went hack, 23, 1, and 13. He had, 51,000 damage as well throughout that game. So a incredible performance from the Ember Spirit. And, you know, Polaris, what a performance to be able to take it as well, going up against Galaxy Racer. I think a lot of people would have been giving the edge to Galaxy considering their recent history, but still the synergy we're seeing come out from Polaris when they can, have these hot days. They look incredibly strong. It's just a question if they can pull it out in game 2 and potentially if it goes to a game 3, but they just they didn't have an answer to the Ember Spirit, and it got to a stage where they couldn't enable In Your Dream, and he was so incredibly farm. I was saying at a stage like, hang on a second, I'm worried that Razor didn't body the lane as hard as what he did, and I thought maybe this In Your Dream troll, he got like a 13-minute Battle Fury timing. I thought he was going to have a hell of a time to be able to farm up as many items as he wanted to then be a huge threat, but Polaris hit back, and we saw from one stage in the game, as soon as they got the net worth lead, they never looked back from there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the issue was you might be able to farm up, every item that you could possibly want in the world, but you were still lacking a ton of mobility on In Your Dreams. So he wasn't able to make that an impact. Like, you can be, as long as the Razor doesn't die, and I thought, again, Boomy played really well to make sure that that didn't happen. You just get off that static link, and all that farm that the Troll Warlord has, not useful for anything. So, very nicely done. Good team play coming out for Polaris, and some great solo performances as well coming out for Boomy and Mac. But that's game one. Game two around the corner.
Yeah, we'll see if the momentum will continue on for Polaris, or if Galaxy Racer can stem it after game one to force full best of three here. We'll find out after a short break.